So, our presentation is over why we like learning calculus using the evidence based instructions. And this is for the MAA Oklahoma Arkansas Regional Conference, which will be held April 8th through 9th in 2022. And this presentation is by Ashley Allen, Kobe Garrett, and Jason Sanders. A little background information. So, my name is Ashley Allen. I'm a biochemistry major undergoing my sophomore year. Math has never been my strongest subject, and I definitely consider myself to be a kinesthetic learner. It takes me to practice and practice through problems in order to completely understand different concepts in math. So, in the past, my instructors would rush through concepts. They wouldn't allow us to actually process the material, nor did they check for comprehension. I enjoy the method that Dr. Harris uses because it actually allows me to understand the material and enhances my ability to be able to comprehend the material and to retain it. So I just included a picture in the upper right corner, just some different calculus formulas that we've used and will see in the future. So calculus in my career, my dream is to become an obstetrician gynecologist, and I will also like to become a licensed medical lab tech. And calculus is very significant and heavy in my field. We know that math and science correlate with each other. So in my field, I will be dealing with women from all ages, and I will see different disorders and diseases. Calculus requires me to be able to analyze and to determine graphs. And this is critical for me in my field to see which disease or which disorder has a higher infection rate in a particular area or region. And we also use Julia coding on CodeCalc, and it provides me with the ability to code and to improve my computer skills. And that is definitely a good trait to have as a STEM major, especially for me, because in my practice, I will need to be able to take the patient's weight and their medical history and use those to determine the right doses for medication or any prognosis that they may need. And lab techs should be able to program in order to visually see the data. So I included an example of when I would actually use calculus in my career. I found this graph from the CDC website. They conducted an investigation of pregnancy-related deaths that occurred from 2007 to 2014. This disparity has been an unfortunate trend in America. So the women, they were aged from 20 to 40, and they were Hispanic, Asian Pacific Islander, American Indian, Alaskan Native, Black, and white. So on the y-axis, we see that we have it starting from 0 to 200. And these deaths were recorded for per 100,000 live births. So as we can see, we have an increasing number of deaths that's going as the women get closer to 40. But the highest amount of deaths that we can see in the darker purple color, which correlates to the bottom of Black women. And that shows that Black women had the highest amounts of deaths.
Hello, my name is Jason Sanders. I major in chemistry with an emphasis in forensics, and I'm currently in my junior year. Math is my weakest subject. For as long as I can remember, I've always played catch up in math courses because when you don't understand what's going on, you tend to play catch up. I definitely consider myself hands on and a visual learner. If a teacher were to give a lecture that is, say, an hour long, I would probably not process half of it because I am not an auditory learner. You have to actually make it near conversational based. Evidence based learning allows me to see the process of solving problems in a step by step way, but also from multiple perspectives. Because of this understanding, my retention for math has improved significantly. So, calculus in my career, my academic goal is to become either a biomedical engineer or a toxicologist and work in the crime lab. Calculus, as everyone knows, requires a broad set of skills you must master before moving on, as math has a tendency to build on itself. Using CodeCalc helps me to familiarize myself with technology and provides me with basic coding skills. This will be extremely useful for me as technology continues to advance in STEM careers. This skill will also allow me to have an advantage when it comes to data analysis.
My name is Kobe Garrett, and I'm an agriculture engineering major, and I am a freshman in my second semester. Math has always been a weak subject for me, but it is very much getting strong. I learned by someone demonstrating the information to me. So basically, I am like a step by step learner and basically kind of a visual learner. My past teachers never really just showed me the work and how to do like step by step problems. So, and they expected me to do it right after teaching it once. They only just expect me to know how to do it. So that's why I enjoy the evidence-based learning because it helps me understand the material much better because it shows me step by step so I won't be stuck or lost. Now I have a picture. How calculus influenced my career. I am an agriculture engineering major and I am trying to become a certified farmer. It's very important to have calculus because it deals with my major a lot. In my case, calculus helps me solve big equations and I have to remember formulas to solve them. Also, I have to read graphs and see the percentages of crops that are formed or what we have to pick out. Julia helps me with my coding skills because in my major, I have to program machine for better work on the farm. As you can see, they're doing it right there on the picture that I have right there that I included.
So some different methods of teaching that we are provided are the recorded lectures, PowerPoint slides, as well as videos. And all of these things are really nice to have because my past teachers were never really resourceful and they never really gave us the option to have it in the first place. PT PLTL is basically in person and Zoom, and it allows us to either learn in person, and for some that may not be able to make it, we can also do it by Zoom. There are 5 tutors available, and they also make accommodations to be available 7 days a week, and they do it on a rotation based shift. Some benefits of PLTL is that it allows students to provide their methods of learning the information in a way that help them pass the course. Some haven't had any prior calculus course, so they provide helpful tips that assist them to their best fit. Most students can relate to not being the best test takers, such as myself. Um, some other benefits of PLTL is that when you learn from your peers a lot of times explain things in a much simpler way than your instructor does. And because it's so straight to the point, you tend to pick up on those concepts a lot faster. And because you're not just seeing one way of learning from your instructor, your peers provide you with multiple ways that you can look at a problem and gives you the ability to solve a problem from multiple angles.
Benefits of recorded lectures. The recorded provide students with access to go over previous lectures at their convenience, which means Dr. Harris always send us recorders, which helps so much, and that's why we tend to excel at our work that we do that she gives to us. Students can download the videos and utilize through their academic journey. So yes, it helps us all through our way of doing our work and through the semester. The benefits of PowerPoint slides. It allows students to have access to the chapter and content. And she also provides examples provided within the lesson, and videos are provided with the book. It is accessible for necessary background information available for content.
So the different methods that Dr. Harris uses to see the knowledge that we retain includes Blackboard paper assignments, Julia coding on the CoCalc cloud service, an explanatory video assignment for chapter 2, and also WebAssign. So these different methods that she uses, it allows her to see the knowledge that we retain instead of just one way, because that's simply how students tend to make bad grades. They don't get a chance to demonstrate what they know in a multitude of ways. Because, like myself, and also like Jason said, and I'm pretty sure Kobe feels the same way, it's hard for students to take tests because when it comes to a test, it feels as if all the knowledge that we know just vanishes away. And we shouldn't just be restricted to one way of showing what we know. And so these four different ways that she uses, also in other methods too, it really benefits us in a way because it helps us to improve our grades. And not only that, but she can see what we know, and it also benefits her to see the different way that she should teach us.
How are the views of learning methods beneficial? Well, they provide students with the ability to have multiple opportunities to achieve a passing grade. Some students haven't taken a prior calculus course before, allow students to have other ways of gaining points, and some students aren't the best test takers, as we have implied before. Not only that, but as we've implied, teaching should not be a one dimensional way of doing things. You should always diversify the way in which you should teach someone something. It doesn't have to just be calculus, it applies to all things. And so, some other examples of that would be such as going to the board, making a competition out of it, such as games or who has the best project grade and things like that. All of these things help put students at ease mentally. They don't feel as rushed, they don't feel like they need to know this in a certain amount of time. And overall, it's honestly just too much pressure on students in general. The benefits of paper assignments and web assign. Some students don't test well and need other ways to demonstrate their understanding of the content. It gives students the ability to practice problems from lessons. Students are able to have another way to boost grades and study more material. And it also allows Dr. Harris to see what the student has retained. And one thing that Dr. Harris does, instead of putting all of our exams online, she also gives us the option to come to class and to do it in person. And personally, it helps me to do it in person because I know that if I struggle, I can always ask her a question afterwards, or I can ask her a question during, and she'll always be there to help. And she's very patient. That is a very important quality in a teacher.
So the benefits of CodeCalc. So Julia coding, like I said, is on CodeCalc. It's a web computing for math. It allows the students to have another online graphing calculator for complex problems, and it also allows the students to gain another skill in coding, which I said, which is a very good skill for STEM majors, especially those that want to go into the health science field, and not just physician. This also applies to medical coding, insurance billing, all that comes into play. And it basically allows us to see the graphs visually and to be able to analyze and to interpret the data. So the explanatory video assignment that we did for chapter 2. So from chapter 1 to 3, we're learning about derivatives. So in this assignment, we were introduced to 4 different rules to find the derivative of a function. And they include the chain rule, power rule, product rule, and quotient rule. So in this project, we had to gather in groups. It was split up between boys versus girls. And we did a video explanation for the different rules that we wanted to pick. And it allowed Dr. Harris to see what we retained in that chapter. And we didn't just have to solely base our grade off of just one test. And we also were able to engage and interact with each other. And it also improves the public speaking skills.
Resources available. Financial support for WebAssign Access Code. That's one good resource because she has many resources on WebAssign. You can watch videos. It shows us how to do the work. It even shows us like a written lesson. GroupMe is a good resource to interact with our peers and to interact with Dr. Harris if you need anything, you need help or something wrong, or she's there. A GeoGebra calculator is an online graphic calculator that helps us do our work and solve some of the problems that she wants us to, see some of the examples she shows us. Khan Academy links provided on Blackboard for help and other links provided for practice. Recorded lectures and excellent PTLs available. So basically, we have 3 good PTL tutors, so that's a good thing. And the recorded lectures really helps us a lot. So both of those are the real biggest things. And I know Ashley and Jace could say the same thing.
benefit of the financial resources that we have available. So Dr. Harris provided a list of contacts for students to get use to help purchase a WebAssign access code. And she was patient enough to wait on all the students to have the code so we can be on the same page. And she even extended the assignments on WebAssign for the students that were waiting on the access code. So unfortunately, some students, we don't always receive our refunds in enough time to buy the necessary tools that we need for our classes. So that includes textbooks, access codes, and any type of school supplies that we need. And for her to provide the resources for us so we can contact these people to help us get the code, that is very, very beneficial. And it has a great impact on students because I know I can relate to my first year of school. I didn't know a lot of people on the campus that could have helped me with different things that I needed. And I struggled and it caused me to hold back a little bit. But to have a teacher who provides more than just content, that is great for students and it definitely makes a huge impact on their learning too.
The benefits of GroupMe. GroupMe is a messaging app that allows easy access for communication, which means we interact with Dr. Harris and our peers and just for help and assistance. It allows us to get a faster reply. It networks with other peers. It is a great way to distribute important announcements and reminders. Just like I was just saying, like if we need to know when class, what time if class going to be canceled, anything, or an assignment that we need to do, anything, GroupMe is the best. Yeah, that's the best choice. The benefits of GeoGebra: free online calculator that's able to do calculus applications, which means we use this in class and it's very helpful. And it helps us solve and see like where our function is going. Is it decreasing or is it, how is it shaping? Is it, the limit and all that? Is accessible on almost all devices. It is a great resource for those who can't afford a graphic calculator. Exactly. It's like myself, like if you go through financial issues, you can have that calculator to help you.
So the extra tutorials and practice. So on our Blackboard, Dr. Harris provided us with different links that we can utilize for extra practice and tutorials for the different concepts that we're using. So throughout the course of the semester, she just been giving us these different resources, and it helps us to gain an even deeper understanding of the concept at hand. So these resources include websites like Math is Fun, LibGuides, and Khan Academy. Students may require extra practice to improve their knowledge. I know that I can relate to that and to enhance the retention of the subject because students shouldn't just solely depend on the class time and instruction time for them to practice different concepts and problems. They should also study outside of the classroom because calculus is a very rigorous subject and I need more than just 1 o'clock instruction time. These practice, they have definitely enhanced my retention of the subject.
Overall, calculus is a difficult subject that requires intense study and practice because sometimes I get overwhelmed and it does require me to practice more and study. Having a teacher to provide resources to increase learning improves understanding, such as Dr. Harris giving us a lot of resources, and they really improve our learning, even though sometimes we get stuck. The different methods of evidence-based learning is beneficial because it changed the way instruction is administered. Students have a multitude of ways to retain knowledge if they take advantage of the resources. You're right. And that's because if we use those, like if you're stuck and you don't use them, you're not gonna get in it. You're not gonna get anywhere. So that's why I'm so happy that she gave us these resources. These methods should be provided in our class in order to improve the graduation rates of minorities that attend HBCUs.
For me, these evidence based learning methods have allowed me to demonstrate the knowledge in different ways that I've observed. It gives me multiple methods to understand rigorous topics and calculus. It has also allowed me to interact and engage with my peers better. And it also allows me to network with other students for tips to understand calculus. And also, it gave me another skill with coding and programming. And I would definitely utilize these methods that I've learned to use calculus and practice into my other courses as well. and these should also be demonstrated in other classes to improve students and also for them to pass the course.
Calculus in itself is a rigorous subject, but here are a few ways this class has impacted me. For starters, it has definitely improved the consistency in my study habits. My study habits in math weren't the greatest. Um, it has definitely increased patience with myself. I think it's important to be patient with yourself because we tend to get frustrated very quickly with ourselves because we can't pick up on something quick enough when really there are so many different factors that can affect our way of learning. It reinforced the idea of being a hands-on slash visual learner because the course is done both in person and Zoom while in class. I can visually see what we're doing, and it has definitely helped me to keep pace with the course. As far as my future career, how does it impact? All STEM careers require math. That's no secret. I'm no longer worried about the math aspect of my career. I definitely feel more at ease, and all of the skills that I may have missed in the past, I definitely made up for within this calculus course and Dr. Harris. It made me appreciate the learning curve and the capacity of my peers. That goes back to being patient with yourself. We all have our own individual learning curves that we need to learn about ourselves because if we don't, we're going to get frustrated over and over again. But we also need to not only be patient with ourselves, but we also need to be patient with others because others don't always have the same capacity to learn as quickly as we do, and nor do we learn as quickly as all other people. So I think we just need to be careful and be patient and just take your time.
My impact. These evidence-based learning methods help me show the knowledge I've observed. It really helps me like these methods, it really have like improved my calculus skills because I took pre-calculus when I was in high school. So it's really boosting it on up so I can, understand it because I forgot a little bit. So it helps. And it gives me many resources for my work. So it helps me do some of my work when I get stuck, when I can't get in touch with doctors. That's a big thing. And it's really like helping me a lot because I honestly thought I would not understand calculus until she showed us and she started giving us these resources. The peer-to lead study session had definitely improved my retention and study habits because I'm doing stuff different now and I'm looking at calculus a whole different way. So I'm glad that I can understand it. And that's why I try to tell people it's not hard. Just when you have a good teacher in front of you, Dr. Harris, that's what I said. I've learned a new skill, coding, and I really need to learn coding for my job. So I'm happy that I understand it now and it's easy.
So some acknowledgments here. This presentation is for the NSF HBCU Targeted Infusion Project Grant, and the award number is 2010292, and this is for our instructor, Dr. Harris. So these are the references for the different links that we provided below, and they go from Julia Cocaton, WebAssign, GeoGebra, RootMe, Blackboard, Khan Academy, Math is Fun, and also CUDA software.